From Fox News, Haitian immigrant Pierre Lucard Emile is now in custody and being charged with the rape of a disabled person. Pierre Emile arrived to the United States from the Brownsville, Texas border and was ordered to appear before an immigration judge for being deemed inadmissible. Pierre would later be released into the public by a Boston jurisdiction who ignored the recommendations of ICE officials. And the one of the most unfortunate things is that Joe Biden actually acknowledged how bad the southern border has become, but instead of taking responsibility for it, he decides to use it as a cudgel to get Republicans to fund the war in Ukraine and try and give aid to Israel with their war in Gaza. You know, that's we let a lot of conservatives and Republicans try to say, "Oh, this guy's senile. He's lost. He's bumping into furniture." Well, I mean, he's kicking your ass pretty much on every front. So you might start try and respect his intelligence a little bit more. And here's some other unfortunate news. These immigrants are getting very. I mean, a lot of them are aware that they can get away with a lot of things. From the Messenger, undocumented immigrant who raped an Ohio woman in broad daylight claimed that he was possessed by a demon. From the New York Post, migrant mob makes a grab for $5,300 worth of designer sunglasses from New York City's Bloomingdale. And from the New York Post, a group of newly arrived migrants allegedly behind string of burglaries plunging Chicago suburb. So yeah, these immigrants, they're getting the gist of it, that they're being put on the pedestal and they could get away with a lot of stuff in these Democrat-run cities. So, thank God Greg Abbott is actually being a very good governor and finally, pushing back on the federal government. He's taking more control of the border than the feds, who are just, you guys have seen, a lot of you have seen the videos now of the San Antonio PD, basically, what's the word I want to use? Basically trafficking people. And the migrant center that they're talking about, that's the migrant center that I've been telling you that I've gone to, that's bringing migrants, and people are just picking them up and driving them off in random cars. Some cars, civilian vehicles, some of them commercial vehicles. Just random people picking them up and dropping them off, taking them who knows where. Some of them bringing them food, some of them bringing them clothes, some of them just taking them, and you never see them ever again. And that's the place that I was talking about. Thank God, more well-known journalists were able to report on it. And what else was I going to say? Yes, a lot of these immigrants that I've talked to, the news media on both the left and the right and populist, they like to say, well, a lot of these immigrants, they're coming in from war-torn countries. They're seeking asylum from Venezuela and Cuba. But the truth is, a lot of them are Venezuelans and Cubans and, from other places. But they're not actually coming from Venezuela or Cuba. They're actually coming from places like, they escaped to places like Colombia, Chile, Peru, Mexico, Honduras, Costa Rica. They escaped to those countries, and from there, once the border was basically open, they proceeded into the southern border of the United States. So they're not actually asylum seekers. They're just taking advantage of this opportunity that the United States is open, and they're claiming asylum, and this is not true. And then I've also read a lot of articles where Border Patrol, they're not even asking them. I can't really say it's all their fault, but there's so many of them that they're not really asking them tough questions. They're not asking them where you're coming from, or what's your political party, or what's your ideology, or things like that. They're basically just asking them, what's your name, what's your last name, what country you're coming from. They're not that's it. And that's basically it. And a lot of them are lying, saying that they're Cubans, saying that they're Venezuelans, so they could get extra benefits. So these people that are coming in, they're actually very well informed. And they're well informed so that they could get more benefits from the federal government. And so anybody that's saying that these are people are risking something coming to America, in a lot of ways they're not. They're coming here almost in a mechanical type of way. There's a road that they take, that there's buses and trains that they take to come to the southern border. So they're not actually, like a lot of immigrants in the past that would walk through miles and miles of desert and forest. They're coming here in a very regulated type of way, I guess. So these aren't the very best people that are being brought. So when the people would tell you those kinds of stories, don't believe them because it's not true. I mean, we could see it on Twitter, we could see it on YouTube that this is a very organized thing that's happening right now. All right, so that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you later.